The movie opens with King Hyperion using the Epirus bow to free the imprisoned Titans inside the Mount Tartarus, but it is a vision, seen by Phaedra, a member of the 4 virgin oracles. The narrator explains that before mankind existed, a war occurred in the heavens among the Immortals. During the war, a great weapon known as the Epirus bow was lost, and after the war, the victors deemed themselves gods. They imprisoned the defeated in the pits of Mount Tartarus and named them the Titans. Now, the mortal king of Heraklion, King Hyperion, seeks the lost bow and plans to take revenge from the gods for letting his family die in vain. Hyperion arrives at a Greek monastery to abduct the virgin oracle. Believing she can locate the bow for him, he takes away the monks and sets the high priest on fire for not cooperating. Now, we meet a young man named Theseus residing in a small village of Kolpos. He practices his axe skills with his mentor, who is just an old man. He had taught Theseus how to fight and often lectured him about faith and morality, given Theseus is not a man of faith. On the other hand, we meet Theseus's mother, Aethra, who is a woman of faith, worshipping in the temple of Athena. Theseus picks up his mother from the temple and heads home. Later that day, the Athenian soldiers ring the bell to alert the city. The mother and son head out to hear the public announcement that King Hyperion is 1 day's march away from invading their village, so they have to evacuate immediately to Mount Tartarus. One of the soldiers, Lysander, is hopeless and creates panic in the public, stating they are doomed. In the evening, the village is evacuating, but Theseus and his mother are forced to stay behind till tomorrow because they are considered undesirables since Theseus was born from his mother getting sexually assaulted. Theseus gets in a fight with the soldiers, including Lysander, demanding equality, but the Athenian officer Helios intervenes. He listens to Theseus' requests and gives him his word to protect him and the peasants. Helios requests Theseus to join their army because he is quite skilled, but Theseus refuses. Helios now confronts Lysander and dismisses him from the army. Later on, Theseus approaches his mentor and asks why he hasn't packed his stuff, but the old man wishes to stay behind for a quick death. At night, Lysander approaches 2 Athenian soldiers and hesitantly slays both of them. Meanwhile, the old man senses an unseen presence, so he reveals his true form, which is Zeus, the king of the gods. The unseen presence reveals herself to be Athena, Zeus's daughter. Zeus had been disguising himself as an old man to influence Theseus to become a great leader. Athena wishes to lead the humans as gods, but Zeus deems it against the law, which is not to help the mortals in their immortal form. Zeus is preparing Theseus because Theseus doesn't fear danger and cares only for his loved ones. Now, Lysander arrives at the Hyperion legions and wants to join Hyperion's army, which is staying at the Greek monastery. Lysander is brought in front of Hyperion and offers him insight regarding the Kolpos village. Hyperion considers Lysander a traitor and deems his insight useless since he owns tons of women, weapons, and wealth. One of the remaining monks wakes up, so Hyperion questions him about the location of the virgin oracle, but the monks have sworn loyalty to the oracles, so he cuts off his tongue. So Hyperion's men take the monk for torturing. Hyperion asks Lysander if he has any children. "I do not," Lysander replies. Hyperion baptizes Lysander before joining his army, which is getting bruise marks on the face, and smacks his jolly beans with a hammer so he cannot reproduce. The next day, Theseus realizes the Athenian soldiers lied, and the peasants have been attacked by the Hyperion soldiers. Theseus fights them off to protect his mother, but gets neutralized by the soldiers. Hyperion notices Theseus's strength, so he slits Aethra's throat. He doesn't kill Theseus, considering his abilities useful. Hyperion's men drag him away as the gods from the heavens watch them. The gods include Athena, Poseidon, Ares, Apollo, and Heracles, and their father, Zeus. The gods want to help the mortals, but Zeus deems it against the law and only to help mortals if the Titans are freed. He warns them that if they interfered as gods, their punishment would be death. Theseus is a slave of Hyperion now, along with other slaves, including a thief named Stavros and Dareios. The Hyperion soldiers have found and captured the virgin oracles. Phaedra accidentally touches Theseus's feet and sees a vision of Theseus holding the Epirus bow and embracing Hyperion. Phaedra drinks water along with Stavros and tells him that they will be fleeing tonight, so they should be ready. The 4 oracles plan to summon the guards at night and fight them off with the slaves to keep Theseus away from Hyperion. Otherwise, he will destroy Greece according to her vision. They get outnumbered, so the oracles force Phaedra to leave with the slaves while they fend off the remaining soldiers. The remaining oracles are brought in front of Hyperion, who questions which one of them is the real oracle, but they don't answer. Hyperion's soldier reveals there were 4 oracles, so he sends his men after her while he decides to torture the oracles. Theseus and others are hiding at the Kolpos Peninsula when they notice Hyperion's soldiers arriving in a ship to capture them. They plan to attack them sneakily while the gods observe them. Poseidon grows restless and decides to intervene indirectly. He jumps from the heavens and dives into the ocean, causing a great ocean wave to rise. Phaedra, Theseus, and the slaves run towards the lands as Hyperion soldiers in ships get wiped in the giant tide. They get covered in the ocean oil, so they clean themselves. Phaedra reveals she saw Theseus teaming up with Hyperion, but Theseus refuses angrily, stating he would never because he killed his mother. Phaedra mentions if he gave a memorial to his mother, but Theseus didn't, so she convinces him to return to Kolpos. Meanwhile, Hyperion sends his beast to Kolpos and decides to head to Mount Tartarus with his army. Theseus and others arrive at the village of Kolpos, where Theseus wraps his mother in a cloth and takes her inside a temple to place her. He places her in a grave but sees a rock in the grave. He tries to break it but notices it glowing. He breaks open the rock and discovers the Epirus bow. He uses it and discovers that the bow can conjure mystical arrows on its own. Suddenly, Theseus gets attacked. He hides in the temple until Hyperion's Minotaur beast shows itself. The mighty beast attacks Theseus and throws him around the temple, but Theseus cuts the beast's legs and beats him with his own weapon. Theseus uses the beast's blade and cuts off his head. Back outside, Stavros chats with the monk and Phaedra when Dareios mentions getting attacked by heathens and dies. The heathens attack the gang and prepare them for execution, while Theseus exits the temple and notices the heathens. He uses the newly attained bow and kills the heathens with it. Phaedra heals Theseus's wounds and sleeps with him. The next day, they decide to head to the monastery to fight Hyperion. On the other hand, Hyperion has reached Mount Tartarus, where the Athenian people and the Hellenics hide behind a giant, impenetrable wall. Lysander reveals to Hyperion that the people of faith still believe that the Titans are buried deep in Mount Tartarus. Theseus and his friends arrive at the monastery and find out Hyperion has left. The monk hears screams coming from a silver bull set on fire, so he tries to break it. Phaedra realizes the screams are of her sister oracles. The men break open the bull, and Phaedra finds her sisters on the brink of death. The monk notices a few Hyperion men in the pit, so he charges at them. Theseus realizes it might be a trap, so he runs after him. They arrive in the pit, and it's an ambush. The Hyperion soldiers attain the Epirus bow and slay the monk. The soldiers decide to finish off Theseus, but Ares arrives and defeats all of them. Athena arrives with 2 horses and tells them to ride towards Tartarus. Zeus arrives at the scene furiously. Athena quickly begs for forgiveness, so Zeus spares her but attacks Ares with a fiery whip and kills him for breaking the law. Zeus tells Theseus he has faith in him and defeats Hyperion. At dawn, they ride to Mount Tartarus, while Hyperion's men deliver the Epirus bow to him. Theseus arrives at Tartarus and joins the Athenian soldiers. Meanwhile, Lysander tells Hyperion about Theseus and his lore because Hyperion is interested in recruiting him. Theseus meets with Cassander, the king of Hellenics. He warns him of Hyperion, stating he has the Epirus bow and plans to free the Titans, so they need to shut the gates. Cassander doesn't believe him and decides to negotiate with him like civilized kings. At night, Hyperion extends a peace offering to talk with Theseus. He tries to trick Theseus into joining his army, but Theseus refuses. Theseus returns and seals the gate himself. The next morning, Hyperion uses the Epirus bow and breaks the seals of the Hellenics. The Hellenic soldiers chicken out, so Theseus takes lead and encourages them to fight. The Hyperion soldiers enter their seal, and the war begins. Theseus leads the battle, while Hyperion enters the Hellenic shrine that is connected to the Mount Tartarus. Cassander tries to negotiate with Hyperion, but he cuts off his head. He uses the bow to blow the wall and enters the Mount Tartarus. Theseus decides to go after him, while Stavros accompanies him. They enter the mountain and run towards Hyperion, but he uses the arrow and frees the Titans. The blast energy knocks out the mortals as Theseus wakes up and finds Hyperion missing and Stavros in possession of the bow. The Titans are on the loose now, and Stavros manages to kill a few but gets killed. Finally, the gods arrive to the rescue. Zeus breaks the Epirus bow with Ares' warhammer. He tells Theseus to defeat Hyperion while they defeat the Titans. Theseus heads back to the shrine but gets attacked by Hyperion. Hyperion stabs him in the guts, while the gods do a terrific job at beating the Titans. Eventually, the gods start to get outnumbered, and Apollo gets impaled by the Titans. Meanwhile, Theseus puts up a fight against Hyperion, but gets beaten badly. Poseidon fights viciously while Athena meets her end. Zeus gets enraged at Athena's death and decides to end the war. He climbs the golden chamber and pulls the cords to collapse the mountain. Theseus stabs Hyperion's foot and throws him on the ground, only to kill him with his own knife. Zeus collapses the mountain and returns to the heavens with Athena's corpse. Theseus defeats Hyperion, and his soul also gets transported to the heavens for sacrificing himself to Death, the evil king. The mountain collapses on Hyperion's soldiers and wipe them out as well. Years pass by, and Theseus has turned into a legend now. Phaedra has given birth to Theseus's son, who's named Acamas. Acamas sees his father's statue as he meets Zeus disguised as an old man again. The old man informs him that a great war is coming to the heavens, and he should be prepared for it. Acamas returns to Phaedra and sees a vision of the gods fighting the Titans in the skies, along with Theseus on the battlefield. The movie ends here. I hope you liked the story recap. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.